What is going on, Pokemon community? It is Achilles018 here, and today we are back at it again, celebrating 2,000 subscribers. We have hit this milestone, and I could not be more happy and more proud. Thank you all for your support. To celebrate, we are doing a Ask Achilles second edition, where you guys got a chance to go to my Instagram to ask me some random questions, some Pokemon related, some not. And I'm going to answer those questions to the best of my ability. I got a bunch of responses, so I just picked a handful of them to answer today. So without further delay, I'm excited to answer your questions, so let's go. Zarif3249 asks, what would you do if Darkrai was removed from all future games? Honestly, I would still play Pokemon games. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I have every main series game that's ever been made, so I would not stop playing Pokemon games if Darkrai weren't included. I would definitely be sad and disappointed that my favorite Pokemon was not included in the games, but I would still continue to play them as I do today. Mew asks, what got you into Pokemon? Well, honestly, just the Pokemon game coming out and coming to America. I started playing the very first day, if not the first week for sure, that Pokemon Red and Blue came to the US. All of my friends in 4th grade at the time were all playing the game. So really just what got me into Pokemon was I was just kind of washed up in that initial wave of excitement that came over back in 1998 here in America from Japan. Adorable Carrot asks, do you play Pokemon Masters? If so, how good do you think it is from 1 to 10? I'd give it like a 6. I think that it was really great starting out. The gameplay did get a little dull for me as I continued to level up and advance. It is a free-to-play game, but like with most mobile games, of course, you can pay money to get better trainers, or have a chance of getting better trainers rather, so it's not quite a pay-to-win. But if you want to get the really great trainers early, you kind of have to fork out some cash occasionally. That's not the most fun thing in the world for me. Oddly enough, the voice acting actually I thought was pretty good for being a mobile game, and I was really excited about that part of it. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I'm a big sucker for cinematic cutscenes and things like that. I'm kind of a sucker for those things, so I really enjoyed that. From Mike with Love asks, how do you think the version-exclusive gyms will play out in the anime? Well, I can't imagine that all 16 or 18 rather gyms for each type would be available in the anime, of course, so I don't think they're going to go with a particular version. I think they're probably just going to go with whoever's aesthetically more popular, so depending on whichever gym leader looks the best or appeals to the widest audience, which typically they kind of go with, what's the biggest appeal for either young male and young female viewers, and who would they like the most. Who those people would be, I wouldn't even have a guess at this point, but I think they're going to go with whatever looks the best in the anime, and whoever's got the best potential character development, whoever makes the best TV, is what's going to end up making it into the anime. Akibrazak 2019 asks, what's your favorite Pokemon and your favorite Beyblade other than Achilles, and why? I actually never really got too big into Beyblade, so I really don't know many of them by name, so I can't quite answer that question, but as you may have guessed, my favorite Pokemon is Darkrai. Sheermar 2006 asks, are you going to make any Pokemon Go videos? I'm not planning on making any Pokemon Go videos where I have like a GoPro and I'm walking around and I'm doing raid days. I know there are some folks that do that. They're popular in the Pokemon Go YouTube community. That's not really something that I plan on spending my time and energy on. I do have a couple of Pokemon Go related ideas in mind. I hope to do a Pokemon Go video at some point in the future. We'll have to wait and see. Good Lover Rice asks, why is Darkrai your mascot and favorite Pokemon? Darkrai is my favorite Pokemon because I really enjoy the lore of Darkrai, and aesthetically, Darkrai really captured my imagination in a way that I don't think any Pokemon since Generation 1 really has. My two favorite types are Ghost type and Dark type, so Darkrai became a quick favorite of mine because A, it's a Dark type, and B is that it looks like a ghost. Its lower body is very ghastly, and same thing with the top of its head, the way it kind of wisps that way. It looks very ghostly to me, and it shares that dark typing, so it really was kind of a match made in heaven for me, and as soon as I saw it, I just knew it was going to be an amazing Pokemon. It happens to be a mythical Pokemon, which tends to add to some of the hype and some of the lore, but I mean, Darkrai could have been a mythical, legendary, a starter, a third evolution of something. It really didn't matter. As soon as I saw Darkrai, I kind of knew that this was kind of like my soul Pokemon, if you will, so that's why Darkrai is my favorite. Smithy Ed asks, Least favorite Pokemon? I think my least favorite Pokemon, I do really enjoy all Pokemon. I don't think any of them are bad. I've played with them all at some point in time, as I do have a living deck, so each Pokemon I had to either catch or breed or train or level up or trade with an item. So I really have a unique relationship with all Pokemon. It's hard for me to say what my least favorite is, but if I absolutely had to say, I'd probably say it was Simipour. Pokemon Master Cam 2002 asks, apart from the Lake of Rage, Gyarados, what was your first ever shiny? Apart from the shiny red Gyarados, which of course was my first shiny like most people, my first ever shiny was a shiny Zubat I found while playing Fire Red. I was at the end of Mount Moon, and I was dying to get out of there to get to Cerulean City before I encountered yet another Zubat, and I did. But this Zubat was different, and it was green and shiny, and I didn't really know what it was. I thought my game was glitching. I debated turning it off so it would mess up my save file, but then I thought, oh, I'm only at Mountain Moon, so only got one badge at this point if you haven't played Fire Red. That's pretty early in the game, so I was thinking, oh, if it glitches my game, I can just start over. So I caught it, and when I used it and threw it out into battle, I was surprised that the green color stayed, and I saw the sparkle animation, and I kind of realized, hey, I think this is actually a real thing. I looked it up online, and sure enough, it was a shiny Pokemon, and I had absolutely no idea about what a shiny was or how rare the odds were, because back then, that was when odds were 1 in over 8,100, so but that was my first shiny, was shiny Zubat in Mount Moon in Pokemon Fire Red. Mysterious Meowth asks, what's your favorite region? My favorite region, hands down, is Johto. I have the most nostalgia for Kanto because that's the generation I started with, but Johto would be my favorite region for sure. Your boy Miguel123 asks, what's your favorite generation? I've got a series on my top 7 Pokemon generations, and I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to answer the question, but I can tell you, if you've watched that series, you know that it's not Generation 3, Generation 6, Generation 4, or Generation 1. So it's either going to be 5, 7, or 2, so you'll have to just wait and find out. I'm Stupid Dude asks, favorite non-Pokemon game? That's really tough for me. I have a hard time picking favorites because I think it just kind of depends on what mood I'm in or what games have come out recently in those titles or those franchises. So I'm just going to throw out a couple of game franchises that I am very passionate about outside of Pokemon. The Legend of Zelda series, the Assassin's Creed series, the Dead Space series, the Resident Evil series, and the Halo series. Ben Dancy5 asks, what's your favorite Generation 3 Pokemon? This is so easy for me. This is clearly Ralts, and not Gardevoir. I do enjoy Gardevoir, don't get me wrong. It's a elegantly designed Pokemon and one of the best ever, I think. But there's something about Ralts that's this combination of like cool and cute I just can't wrap my head around. Whenever I play Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire, I do sit there and Dex Nav chain to get a shiny Ralts to start my journey, and it takes me forever, but I just love having my shiny Ralts go up against Wally's regular Ralts. I just think it's super fun, and it's kind of a silly thing I spend a lot of time on, but shiny Ralts is one of my favorite shinies, period, and Ralts is just a really, really cool Pokemon. What is your least favorite shiny legendary Pokemon? This one's also easy for me. There's a lot of shiny Pokemon that I'm not a huge fan of, and there's a couple of legendaries I'm not a huge fan of. A legendary I like non-shiny, but once it turns shiny, I'm not as big a fan by any stretch, is Moltres. I just think it looks like a weird rubber chicken. The flame color with its pink body color, I'm just not really a big fan, which is really ironic because most people give flack to Zapdos and Articuno because their shiny palette changes very slightly from their normal palette, so people give it flack. I actually really enjoy Articuno and Zapdos's minor color changes, and I've talked about both of those shinies in other videos. Moltres is the most drastic of the 3 legendary birds as far as shiny changes, and sometimes drastic works, but in my opinion with Moltres, it doesn't. Some Random Kid 9 asks, what is your favorite type? My favorite type is probably Dark, but it'd be really, really close between Dark and Ghost. Bootliver asks, favorite of the Swords of Justice? I would have to say Keldeo. That might sound like a cop-out, being that it's the mythical one, but it's got that same kind of Ralts feel, and that's a combination of cool and cute. It also has multiple forms, so that's something that I really like and I enjoy. Hayden Newski asks, what is your 5 favorite Pokemon and your thoughts on them? Well, I've talked about Ho-Oh and Darkrai some, so those are my top 2, and I don't want to go too into those. I've talked about those a couple times already, so putting those aside, It's really tough for me to pick the next 3, but when I think about Pokemon journeys I imagine myself on, or these Pokemon that kind of call out to me and I feel like they have some kind of resonance with me, I would probably think about Haunter, and yes, Haunter, not Gengar. I love Gengar and it's amazing, but Haunter just has a special feeling with me I just can't get around. So I would say Haunter, Zoroark, and Chandelure. Really, when it comes to why I enjoy them, it really has a lot to do with their typing, color scheme, especially with Chandelure and Zoroark. The color scheme that they take when they become shiny, I think is also equally amazing. So I would probably say those 5. Cameron Isaac 5 asks, do you have a Rainbow Mewtwo GX? No, I do not, but I wish I did. Hales asks, favorite evolution? I would probably say Jolteon. I have fond memories from playing Red and Blue with Jolteon. It was really the only really great electric type in the game, aside from Zapdos, obviously. But also learned Twin Needle, which is a really useful bug type move, and there really weren't any bug type moves in Gen 1 beyond Twin Needle for the most part that actually did damage. So that was a really nifty coverage option that it had. Probably for nostalgia's sake and from experience personally playing with it, I would say Jolteon. David Plays asks, what's your opinion on Hydreigon? Well, Hydreigon is a dark type, so naturally I enjoy that, but to be honest, upon first glance, I did not like the design of Hydreigon. I didn't like its shiny form, but upon playing Gen 5, I really came to enjoy the entire line of Hydreigon, and I really enjoy it. It's nice. It's not one of my favorite Pokemon, but Hydreigon is a rare, didn't like it at first, but came to really enjoy its story, and actually there's a lot of Gen 5 Pokemon that fall into that category for me. EXH6 asks, if you can introduce a brand new type to an already existing Pokemon, what type would it be? I used to think about this all the time, and I used to think about a light type, but as I think about what I used to think a light type Pokemon would do, they really did that with the introduction of the Fairy type in Gen 6. That really kind of does all the things and covers a lot of the bases that I would imagine that a light type monster would, just counteract dark, weak to poison, some things like that. So I really haven't thought about it much since then, so I don't really have a go-to pick now, but I think a light type Pokemon would have been my answer if you'd asked me about 6 years ago. 683 Pulevaka says, hi, hello to you. Mr. Clean Gravy says, Surfetched? Yes, it is a Pokemon. It has been revealed, and it is awesome. But I think I'm going to play Pokemon Shield first because Galarian Ponyta looks amazing. Samantha Liano asks, how did you choose your channel name? So we're going to send this one out with a bang. So I have a couple of people ask me this question from time to time, and I haven't really talked about it publicly beyond a couple of side conversations, so here it is. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with Pokemon. So as I had mentioned earlier, one of the franchises that I'm a big fan of is the Halo franchise. Achilles 018 is actually my gamer tag from 10 years ago when I started playing Halo 2 and Halo 3 on Xbox Live. So if you want to find me on Xbox Live, search Achilles 018 and that's really me. So that was kind of the easy thing for that. As far as naming my channel, Achilles 018, Achilles is kind of like a nickname I've gone by for the last 10 years since that's been my gamer tag for the entirety of that time, and it's still live and still active and it's still me. So Achilles is certainly another part of me, so it was kind of easy to name the channel that because this is certainly a part of me and who I am as making this channel and making this content for you guys to enjoy. As far as why I chose Achilles 018 as a gamer tag, I have always been a fan of the Achilles character in Homer's Odyssey and in Greek mythology. The Achilles character has always really interested me, and I've always kind of gravitated toward that demigod type character with a really simple but less thought about weakness. And as far as the 018, so my favorite number is 18. The reason why I added the 0 in front is also again a kind of like a Halo reference in a weird way. The Spartans, which are kind of the super soldiers of the Halo series, are all referred to as Spartan and then their number. So the main protagonist who you play as, his name is John. He goes by either Spartan 117 or John 117. So it's 3 digits. In lore, there are some Spartans that have numbers lower than 100, but they're all in 3-digit form. So like Spartan 018 would be, well, Spartan 018, not Spartan 18. It'd be Spartan 018. I thought that was really cool. It's kind of adding that, okay, how do I get a 2-digit number as a 3-digit number and then add a 0 in front? It all seems very kind of like formal and militaristic and whatever. So I thought it would be a really cool gamer tag to have as I'm, playing Halo and rocking at that. So that's why the 018 came to be instead of just Achilles 18. So that is why my channel is called Achilles 018. Well, thank you guys for all of your questions. This has been a blast for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I picked more questions than last time with the hope that I can get some more information out there, and you guys hopefully enjoyed listening to that. Thank you again for 2,000 subscribers. I could not be more grateful. More great content to come. Until the next time, Poke fans, I'll see you around.